Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media, and tonight's video I want to go over my top 10 movies for 2017. Now this was a great year for movies, and I want to go over my top 10 with all of you. Let's get to it. So I saw a lot of movies in 2017, but the first thing that I have to say is there are some movies that I did not see, so I want to get that out of the way. These are the reason that it's not on the list yet. So Blade Runner 2049 I did not get to see yet. Thor Ragnarok I did not get to see yet. And amongst others, comment down below if it's missing. I may have not seen it. But anyway, let's get to my top 10. So in the number 10 spot, we have SpiderMan Homecoming. Now this is everything I wanted from a Spider-Man movie. I didn't really enjoy the Andrew Garfield ones too much. I think that it wasn't a nerdy enough Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland was the perfect level of nerd in this. I think the younger approach to Spider-Man was also interesting, and it was just a fresh take on the story that we've all seen. And since we haven't gotten a good Spider-Man really since Spider-Man 2, I would say that's the last good one, I was very surprised and very happy to see this come out, and it was awesome. Number 9, we have Super Dark Times. Now this was an indie film that didn't get a widespread release, but I highly recommend this movie. I kind of describe it as a mixture of Stand By Me and Donnie Darko. The cinematography is great, the soundtrack is great. It's about a group of friends over a summer and their friendship and how they bond and how it turns super dark in the end. Now, I'm not going to give anything away, but it's a very interesting movie and one that I highly recommend. In 8th place, we have Trainspotting 2. Now, I'm a huge fan of the original Trainspotting. It is one of my favorite movies of all time, and this was a perfect sequel to me. It just felt so natural. The characters stayed the same. I mean, all the characters came back, and they just represented the actors represented the characters, Renton and Sick Boy, so well. I mean, it's almost as if they were living their life, honestly, the 20 years, and then we just caught up with them. It was such a convincing movie. It's such a great sequel. They didn't try to do anything crazy with it. They didn't ruin the original, and I thought it was a great addition to Trainspotting. In number 7, we have The Black Coat's Daughter. Now this is another indie release, and this was actually released in 2015, but didn't get released until 2017 of this year, and I gotta put this one on my list. So this was directed and written by Oz Perkins, son of Anthony Perkins, the genius behind Psycho, and this movie is gripping and amazing. It is definitely one of my favorites of the year, and that's why it's on this list. Emma Roberts gives a fantastic performance, a lot of twists and turns in this. It's a slow burn psychological horror, definitely more in the vein of something like The Witch or It Comes at Night. So if you like those movies, definitely give this a watch. In number 6, we have Wonder Woman. Now, I was so surprised by Wonder Woman, because I'm going to be honest, the DC franchise really hasn't done me so well. I haven't enjoyed their movies that much compared to the Marvel Universe. Batman vs. Superman was good, but it's definitely not a favorite. Now, Wonder Woman really just had a great story. Everything about it was fantastic. Gal Gadot had a great performance. Chris Pine had a great performance. And there was just so much backstory to it. I didn't know much about Wonder Woman going into it. And it was such a rich backstory that you really cared for the characters. You really cared about the relationship between Chris Pine and Wonder Woman. And it just helped explain a lot in the franchise as well. Alright, halfway there. Number 5, we got Ingrid Goes West. Now this is another indie movie starring Aubrey Plaza. And it is a dark comedy, and I just thought this movie was awesome, and it was so real. It was so real to today's culture, and it's really just about how everybody's so obsessed with social media and being the next famous hashtag or being the next famous Instagram model and stuff like that, and how so many people are just faking it for the internet. And it takes a humorous look at it in a very dark way, I must say, in a very dark way. But it fits Aubrey Plaza's personality perfectly. Her as an actress is that dry humor similar to Parks and Rec, and the movie itself was great. Also, another great addition was that was O'Shea Jackson, who was in Straight Outta Compton. He was fantastic. He was really funny, like a Batman enthusiast he is in this movie, and he's really funny, has some really funny Batman lines in that. So watch out for that if you give it a watch. Now in 4th place, we have Mother. Now actually, I was going to rank this higher on my list, but the top 3 are the top 3. Mother was a gripping experience. I saw this in theaters, and I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. This movie, from the first shot, does not let up. It is all shots of Jennifer Lawrence's face of a close-up or over her shoulder. You never get any room to breathe in this movie until the final act, where everything just goes crazy, and you have to watch it to believe it. And the thing is, I want to recommend it to everybody, but not everybody's going to like it. But I do think that everybody should see it and judge it for themselves. But definitely one of my favorites of the year. Darren Aronofsky knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. In third place, we have The Big Sick. Now, this was a surprise for me. I mean, any Judd Apatow movie I usually like, but this was a Judd Apatow movie more in the vein of Funny People, where it's not that comedic, but there are a lot of comedy aspects to it. Now, I just found this movie very heartwarming. I found it to be a very charming movie, a very realistic movie, and that's because it's actually based on Kumail Nanjiani, the star's life, and how he met his girlfriend. And I just found this movie to be something that anybody can enjoy. Now, it is a little bit sad, but I would say that the funny parts outweigh the sad parts, and the payoff at the end is totally worth it, and just a highly recommended movie. Honestly, just go out and see that one. I'm sure you'll like it. Now, in second place is It, and that's no surprise, I'm sure. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the horror genre, and I think this was one of the best horror movies of the year, and one of the best horror movies of the last decade. Now, I was really scared when I heard that there was a remake being made, because I'm a huge fan of the 1990 It. I mean, growing up, it was a staple in my childhood. I was very scared of Pennywise back then, and I know it's cheesy now, but I was scared that they were going to ruin this. And Anthony Muschietti did a fantastic job with this movie. I don't want to say this because it's a diss to the movie, but it's like, has a very nice Stranger Things type vibe to it, Stand By Me type vibe, Goonies type vibe, and it's more than just a horror movie. It's definitely a character building movie, a movie based on friendship, but also a movie based on an entity, also known as Pennywise, his favorite form. And I think Bill Skarsgård just did a fantastic job at that role. He took that role over, and once I found out, especially how into the role he got, where the cross-eyed and his moving his eyes, that's all actually Bill doing that, and the drooling is all Bill doing that. That's no CGI or effects or anything like that, and that just makes it even more creepy. Definitely the number 2 spot. Highly recommended. Great horror movie, even for non-horror fans. Now, in the number 1 spot, we have Get Out. Get Out has to be my favorite movie of the year. I just feel that it was made perfectly. It has a little bit of everything. It has comedy, it has drama, it has suspense, it's a thriller, and it's a horror. It has a little bit for everybody, and I think it's a great entryway for people who don't like horror to get into horror, because it has some scary parts, but it's not a scary movie at heart, and there's a lot of funny jokes and lighthearted things thrown in there to break up the horror elements. Now, Jordan Peele just did a fantastic job doing this movie. I am so excited to see what else he does in his career. I know that he says that he has a bunch of other social commentary sort of horror movies planned, and I cannot wait to see those. Best movie of the year, in my opinion. I mean, guys, remember, this is all my opinion. Your opinion is going to differ from mine. I just wanted to share my top 10 for the year. Also, guys, I got 4 honorable mentions that just didn't make the cut, but I thought they were super original movies that I really enjoyed. And those are Wind River, A Cure for Wellness, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and Brawl in Cell Block 99. All of those were fantastic films that are highly recommended as well. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below what your top 10 are. Let me know if I missed any on this list. Let me know down below. Anyway, guys, have a good day.